Welcome, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that Bhangra music. My name is Anna Karina Tabunyar, and welcome to our virtual gathering to mark Asian Heritage Month. I'll be your host this morning. We have American Sign Language interpretation throughout this event. You can also activate the computer-generated captioning by clicking on the button that says Live Script. For our guests with low vision and vision impairment, let me give you a verbal description of myself. I have long black hair, brown skin. Behind me is a bookcase and a sun-filled window. I'm wearing thick eyeglasses and an orange shirt. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the land that I'm standing on. Ottawa is the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. They are the traditional guardians of this land. Many of us have come here as settlers, immigrants, and newcomers in this generation or generations past. I invite you to take a brief pause to show our respect and love to Indigenous peoples, especially Indigenous children. This morning, we're celebrating the contributions of Asian Canadians. Ottawa is home to Asian professionals who work in all sectors and all disciplines. They are educators, artists, entrepreneurs. They have expertise in media, technology, finance, healthcare, social services, and more. As we take note of these diverse contributions, we cannot ignore what's been happening all around us across the country. We've heard about the surge in violent attacks against Asian people online, in our neighborhoods, in our Chinatowns, the very places that were built to make us feel at home and feel welcoming for others. The purpose of this virtual event is to create a safe space to learn from and support one another, and I am honored to be part of this. Our guests will share their personal and professional stories. I consider them my brothers and sisters because we all share a similar life journey. We traveled across the world to a foreign land, immersed in a new language, climate, and culture. We were outsiders working hard to fit in. We share an Asian entrepreneurial spirit that brought us where we are today. I am an immigrant from the Philippines. Kumusta ka at mabuhay? So let's kick things off with our very first guest. You might be familiar with her work on CBC television. Judy Trine investigates systemic racism and human rights challenges. She also mentors immigrant journalists for New Canadian Media. Judy came to Canada as a refugee from Vietnam. Hello, Judy.
Good morning, Anna Marie. How are you?
I'm very well. How do you say, how are you and thank you in Vietnamese?
So Anna Karina, what is interesting about me is that even though I am ethnically Chinese, I was born in Vietnam. So my name is actually Vietnamese, but I only speak Cantonese. So I can say Joe Sun in Cantonese. I'm fluent in Cantonese. I can only order in Vietnamese, and I'm taking Mandarin classes. So there you go.
Okay. For our audience, can you give us an oral description of what you look like, what they're seeing of you on their screens?
Absolutely. So I have long black hair. I am wearing a sleeveless black top. You don't see it, but I'm actually wearing a very beautiful floral skirt, which is unfortunate, but you should know that for your imagination. And I am, my skin is sort of, it's olive toned, and I have smiling eyes.
Smiling eyes and beautiful dimples.
That's right. Thank you for the dimples.
In your work, you look at systemic barriers in your reporting. What do you observe as the most prevalent or most particular facing Asian people?
I think when it comes to Asian people, one of the things that we don't like to talk about is racism, because we know it exists, but we don't like to rock the boat. So it's not something that we talk about at all. You know, we want to present ourselves in the best light to say that, you know, if we are accomplished, if we are successful, it's because of our abilities and what we've achieved. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that we're not here to stir up trouble. So we won't we won't necessarily stand out and make those cases known, right? And I think that has been the standard in terms of my news reporting for a very long time. It was very hard to get Asians on camera to say anything that is critical or to even acknowledge the racism that they themselves face, because they felt that there was stigma related to it. Right. However, there is a generational change. I find that individuals who are younger than 30, you know, the millennials, and younger generation Xers, they want to talk about this because they are tired. I think they are tired of always expecting to accept it and to be this what is it?
Model immigrant,
model immigrant,
model
minority. That's right, right. So that we are what everyone is supposed to look at because we've assimilated so well, and that isn't the case at all for many people. So younger generations are saying, you know what, we need to bring this forward. We need you, you know, our older parents, our brothers, our sisters. You have to acknowledge it, and we also have to join the fight in regards to systemic racism, because our silence actually perpetuates it
and contributes to these inequitable systems. Yes.
That's
you know,
right.
what really impresses me is the language that this generation has that we never had. Knowing
That's
how
right.
to, just by having the language, gives them the confidence to be able to speak and name it.
That's right. And I think it's understanding of their complicity too, in the sense that by taking up this mantle of being the model minority, what happens is that we don't allow any space to elevate our Black and Indigenous brothers and sisters, right?
Yes.
Because we allow people to point to us and say, well, that's how everyone should be like, which is completely wrong, because not everyone is like that. And at the same time is we've hidden our challenges and we've hidden our struggles.
Yes, yes. You know, the work that you do is so heavy and so full of heartache, especially this week, as we know, with the revelation of the mass graves. But how do those issues affect you on a personal level?
On a personal level, I think I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing. I think what it has is that it's forced me in my own life to have these conversations with my parents, have these conversations with my own family. I think we have to acknowledge that even within our cultures, just because you are Asian, just because you are South Asian, Filipino, Chinese, whatever, it doesn't mean that you yourself within your group cannot be racist.
Yes.
You know, I would,
yes.
And I think that I probably do a lot of confronting with my own family, my parents' generation, especially when they say certain things, like, and it's just part of their language, and say, well, those people, you know, well, they come, you know, and even with, well, that's because they come from that part of China, or that, you know, did you know that they had that history in Hong Kong or whatever? And it's like, why do you say those things? This whole idea that we have to lift each other up and we can't succeed by stepping on someone else. So these are the hard conversations that we have about what it takes to succeed, and who gets to call, and the fact that we are all biased and that we have prejudices that we need to overcome.
That's a lot of deep introspection, and that's the tough work that takes a lot of time. Judy, I know that we've caught you in between interviews. If you can stick around, so we'll have a Q&A with the other panelists after this.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy, thank you. Let me introduce you to our next guest. She's known as the unofficial mayor of Chinatown. Grace Shin has been the executive director of the Chinatown BIA for 13 years. She came to Ottawa 22 years ago as an international student. And since then, she's traveled to every province and every territory in her work to promote Canadian tourism. Hello, Grace.
Hello, Anna Karina. 早晨，你好。
你好. Can you give us an audio or a verbal description of yourself?
Absolutely. Like you, I have long dark hair and I wear glasses with a light blue frame. And I have also a colorful scarf on me. And I wear a dark green jacket.
Thank you very much. I remember Asian Heritage Month from many, many years ago. And it was always about celebration and culture and cuisine. How do you celebrate when a lot of businesses are in survival mode and a lot of people are hurting?
Very interesting. I want to say, honestly, we normally do not celebrate Asian Heritage Month, especially in Chinatown, because for us, as a multicultural village with an Asian flavor, we live in the Asian culture and express it through our restaurants, our grocery stores, the murals, the street furniture, and our art every day. Whether it's a sunny or stormy day, our businesses carry on. Our arch is standing there welcoming visitors. Our benches with key Asian cultural symbols are waiting for people to sit on. So the Asian flavor will never stop to embrace the city and its people.
I know you've got a business background as well as a background in physics, is it? Photonics? Okay.
Yes, and MBA as well.
Okay, well, now I'm feeling kind of underaccomplished, but I know that with your business background, you view Chinatown as an asset for Ottawa and for the rest of the country. How do you mean?
Well, Chinatown and the Asian community in our city, they are definitely the asset of the city of Ottawa. So from a local perspective and from a global perspective, as the capital city of Canada, Ottawa should have the ambition and vision to turn its Chinatown and Asian population into one of the key assets in Asian market development. I want to give you some data. Data does not lie. As a country, Canada is committed to play a key role in the Asian Pacific region. So Asia's economy has proved resilient during economic downturns and in the pandemic as well. For example, Canada in 2020, China is Canada's second largest and Japan its fourth largest trading partner. Canada also maintains an active development assistance presence in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. According to the Asian Pacific Foundation of Canada, Asian Pacific international students are Canada's hidden treasure. In 2014, international students from the region were close to 60% of all international students who came that year to study in Canada. According to Destination Canada, in 2017, China is Canada's second largest inbound market. And Japan bounced in 2019 among all the destinations of Destination Canada's markets. Japan bounced the highest proportion of travelers visiting Canada between October and March, when aurora viewing is popular. Tourism is big.
Aurora Borealis, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Data does not lie. We should recognize the importance of building a future within the Asian Pacific for cultural and economic benefits. Asian students and immigrants, they bring valuable business opportunities to our country, while cultural diversity, such as delicious and exotic food in Chinatown, Asian art and creativity in our city, make our community a more dynamic and exciting destination for visitors. So it's within that context, the Ottawa Chinatown, we call it, really, it's a material expression of the growing connection between the East and the West, an example and a focal point for people of Asian background to share with locals and visitors alike. It is crucial to ensure that our local Asian community flourish and its Chinatown prospers, because being a great tourism destination and a great place to eat, it is Ottawa's gateway to Asian businesses. And it's a statement that Ottawa the capital city of Canada, is global minded. So I think we're a great asset. You should really fully utilize.
So in your view,
Yes.
having been at the head of Ottawa's Chinatown for all of these years, what are some of the obstacles or risks that are facing Chinatown?
Well, I think like many main street in downtown areas, Chinatown is facing similar challenges described in the research done by the Canadian Urban Institute after examining 7 of Canada's main streets during the pandemic. For example, the challenges we have, they are drastic downturn in foot traffic and reduced revenue for our businesses. The worsening housing and addiction crisis changed customer behaviors. For example, they're used to order online, doing takeout, and they haven't been in the downtown offices. We have struggles to draw back the shoppers and our normal visitors back to the area, and also increase vandalism, crime, and property damage. And I think these are all outlined in the Canadian Urban Institute study. So I think while recognizing social issues and the complexity around them, we are worried that all of this are pushing the small businesses out of the main streets. Then if that happens, it will lead to the decline of Main Street and destroy some economic ecosystems. So these are the challenges and worries we have.
Yes, and we'll hear directly from 2 small business owners in Chinatown just after you. In spite of all of these challenges and obstacles that you're seeing, what gives you hope for Ottawa's Chinatown?
I still have big hopes. We are always very positive because we have the best people, the best city, and the best country. There's no reason Chinatown cannot prosper and develop to be a true asset for the city. If you know that our city councilor just led a task force, it's called the Chinatown Community Wellbeing Task Force, is exactly to address the challenges I just mentioned. So we need the city and every agency to recognize the value of the Asian community and Chinatown and really develop an asset management roadmap to properly grow this asset and mitigate risks. The fact that I think Invest Ottawa is organizing this session, I find it's very encouraging because this year, through the Digital Main Street program and the Chinatown BIA worked with Invest Ottawa to redesign some of our brand assets, including developing a new website. So we're not only pleased with the result, but more importantly, we are happy to see that our city's economic development and innovation agency is showing some strong interest in Chinatown and in the Asian community. I think that's a great step that's where my hope strengthened, and I see a brighter tomorrow for Chinatown.
I should also say, Grace, that this is Invest Ottawa's very first event to mark Asian Heritage Month.
Really?
So let's hope that this is the beginning of new partnerships and new collaborations.
Absolutely. And Karina, today is my last day as the
yes, I was just going to say.
Executive Director. So I'm moving over to a new role in the Ottawa Community Foundation, the city's powerhouse in building philanthropic and social wealth. So I'm really looking forward to working with, the businesses and our government agencies, Invest Ottawa, on a city building mission from the lens of philanthropic sector.
Well, Grace, I want to say thank you for spending your very last day as mayor of Chinatown and head of the Chinatown BIA with us. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Let me introduce our very next guest. His name is Gangadeep Virk. He came to Ottawa as an international student, and he stayed because he saw a lot of potential in this government city. He opened the Indian restaurant called Mefil Cuisine in Chinatown in 2019, and it quickly won the distinction as Ottawa's best Indian restaurant by a local magazine. Hello, Gangadeep.
Hi, how are you, Anna Karina?
Very fine. Can you teach me something in Punjabi?
Sat Sri Akal.
Sastrigal.
Yes, that means like a warm greeting as a start of a conversation.
Okay, so tell me, how do you say, I love your mint green blazer?
Twadda blazer bada pasand hai. It's very hard. Yeah. So my name is Gangadeep and I own Mahfil Indian Cuisine, Indian restaurant in Chinatown, Ottawa. And as a visual description, I'm a brown skin guy, small hair and a white background in the back and bright suit, bright sky blue suit.
I'd also describe your hair as not so small, but really stylish and voluminous.
Thank you so much. I take it as a compliment.
Let's switch gears and talk about your restaurant.
So, yes. Mahfil is known for its Mahfil is North Indian cuisine restaurant. You know, it's known for its spice and authenticity in the food. Like we don't mild out the dishes. We give the real authentic version of dishes. That's why people like it so much.
So it's not for the wimpy eaters.
Oh no, definitely. No, we can make a mild for you. Not to disencourage anybody, but we can make a little mild version for you.
Okay, so I know that you and your wife retooled your buffet
yes.
to make it a takeout, and you're preparing for even more transformation.
Yes.
What are you planning?
Well, I can tell you, Anna, when we first opened our store, our restaurant, our main selling point was lunch buffet. We provided a various of affordable options. Like 10 months into the business, like a pandemic hit, we were forced to shut down the buffet. With the dine-in closed, we chose to shift our focus onto takeout and deliveries. We partnered with delivery app like Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes to get our name out there.
And so what else is on your agenda in terms of transformation?
Definitely. Like as I said earlier, the big part was played by the delivery platforms that are like Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, because they were favorable in the COVID era. However, but they take 30% cut, which is in the long run is not profitable. So we focus more on our takeouts, giving incentive to our new or existing customers. You get 10%, 15% off if you order directly from us. If and we are also providing 400 meals per week to the Parkdale Food Center as well. And we are still providing every week. And Mahfil is coming with barbecue kits for the summer. This will allow our customers to have the experience for like Indian flavor at the comfort in their home.
And then we can adjust our own spices, right?
Yes. Well, we will give you like different option. You want like medium, like the Nando's give you like different spice option. We'll also give you different spice option as well. Okay.
I said earlier in introducing you that you came to Ottawa as an international student, but you didn't come directly to Ottawa. You took a kind of a roundabout way here and then you settled here.
Yes. Well, actually, I came in the starting. I came in Ottawa. Then I went to spend like 6 months in Toronto and like 2-3 months in Montreal. And then I went to the countryside as well, the north. I went to North Bay as well. And, I spent like 2-3 months over there. After, living in 2, 3, 4 places, I discovered, Ottawa is the one where I, want to settle and open my business.
Because,
Ottawa, well, first of all, Ottawa people are very kind, generous, and very nice. Second thing, the main thing is the Ottawa is, it's a government city, it's a government hub, and it's been recognized at the international level as well, like as a tech hub as well, and as a government hub as well. Well, like we can say with more than 17% of population is involved in federal government. This brings stability, like, and not like anywhere else. Like if the employment sector is reliable, well, the no city is recession proof, right? And but if the employment sector is reliable, then you have a stable employment sector that will ensure cultural activities and continue to receive support, which will lead to the restaurant growth and restaurant profit.
Okay, what is your advice to other entrepreneurs who are just starting out?
My advice to other entrepreneurs are that, there is no fast track to building a successful business. It often takes countless hours and even years to cultivate the idea that is in your head, but bringing it into the real life. But I would say keep pursuing your dream and passion, be consistent and persistent, and you will make it. Ottawa is that type of city that, you will definitely make it. If, you have to adopt, once you are adopting, you will make it.
Thank you for that big dose of optimism. And before I let you go, how can people order from you?
People can order from our website, they can call us, they can find us on social media. We have very strong social media presence. They should like Google us and Instagram, Facebook, and whichever way they want to order, they can order us. But order direct if they want to order directly from us.
All right, and so I know that you're closed today, but during this week, everybody, if you want to get your fill of Indian cuisine and the specialty curries that Gangadeep is so famous for, give Mifil Indian cuisine a try. Gangadeep, stay with us and we'll come back to you in the Q&A.
Thank you so much.
Let me introduce you to our next guest. Yi Chang would normally be celebrating the 10th year anniversary of her business called Art Flow Gallery, but her art gallery has been closed for the last year and a half. So Asian Heritage Month has been less about celebration and all about survival. Thank you for joining us, Yi. I'm not seeing Yi. Can we bring her up?
Hi.
Ah, hello. Hello. You have something that's very distinctive in your background and on your dress. Can you describe it?
Okay. My name is Yi Chang. Hi, 大家好，我是画家常怡. This is Mandarin. I have curly hair, curly black hair, and I wear today I wear traditional Chinese top. And my background, I have one of my favorite painting I painted a few years ago. So it's a painting about Peking opera. I'm from China. I'm an artist. I'm a co-owner of Art Flow Gallery and dean of 3 multicultural art academy. I'm so happy to be here, be part of this very meaningful event.
I have to ask you to stand up so people can have a full appreciation of that lovely dress and what's on it. It looks like a mask, Yi?
Yeah, it's a mask. It's about Peking opera, Mask of Man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, we know that having a physical store has been challenging for every single business. What are the unique challenges for your business selling traditional Chinese art?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thanks for asking this, because it's the biggest challenge for us to sell Chinese traditional art. I think most Westerns and art collectors they undervalue the Chinese art because they don't understand and they don't know Chinese culture. You know, we all come from different backgrounds with different cultures, which is really completely understandable. Like we know, Canada is a multicultural country, and I think everyone should learn, understand, accept, and respect each other's culture. So we think if we want people to know our art, we have to let them know and how to teach them how to, show. So that's what, based on this reason, we decide to open a lot of art exhibitions. And at the same time, we open an art class. And so, for example, like we invite artists from different cultures, and we even invite artists from China. And some artists, they do traditional Chinese painting by ink and rice paper. And some is a master of the ceramic artists. And this, also, we invite artists from local too, from Canada. We did art show for the professional artists here, and he do oil painting, and it's really colorful. It's really successful. Also, we have sculpture artists do art show in our gallery too. also we have another interesting exhibition. It's called It's called Black is Now Color. It's all by our animators from Ottawa. We also at the same time we open class, we teach students to paint, how to use Chinese brush ink, learning Chinese painting.
And how do you do that? How do you do that in the pandemic? How do you teach art?
For this, this hard time, and we can open class. But the gallery opened 10 years. This year is the 10 years anniversary. So during the 10 years, we had a lot of class. But during this hard time, we don't have class. But sometimes students call us. We can talking about art during the phone, and at least we can do labor help for them. It's hard because art is a visual thing. It's by phone sometimes hard, but they send a picture to us, and by email, by WeChat, we look at and we call them how to fix here, how to do that. That's the best we can do for now. During also we open classes. We think that's another way to show people understand the Chinese culture and another culture. So we have art exhibition for the. We have the class teaching Chinese painting, and also we have tea ceremony, and also how to do arrangement flowers. It's a whole bunch of things we try to do. I think we did really good, very successful. And during the 10 years since the gallery opened, we have many classes. We have hundreds of students to learn with us.
So your survival has been dependent upon your past customers and your past students.
Yeah, exactly. And also another thing I really want to say here, because I'm the whole family really grateful for the Canadian government to give us the big support. We applied fundings, and we get funding, and we help people. We open class, and even we got a big support from BIA, like Greece. They help us a lot. Even the Ottawa Mayor Jim Weston, he came.
Mayor Jim Watson.
Yeah, he came to our art show and event, and he be there, and he show his face, and the people so exciting. And and I'm really, really, really thankful that I hope we get more support in the future, and I hope the government can support the arts as well too. And I think his art is really, really important, wonderful in everyone's life.
Yes, agreed. If you could speak with other artists and other creatives who are trying to start or trying to survive with their business, what would you tell them?
My experience is, I think just do the thing you really like, you really enjoy, and just work hard, keep doing it. I know during the time always has, you probably, for example, you really sad, and you want to stop, you want to give up. But I think if you follow it, if you follow your goal, your purpose, you enjoy to do it, I believe the end, your wish will become true. And I think that's my advice. Persistence. Yeah, for persistence. Yeah, exactly.
So, where can we find more about your work and your lessons?
We now we have the website you can go is called Instagram, and we have a lot of artist paintings, and
okay, we'll find you on Instagram.
Yeah, and the Art Flow Gallery 2011. The address is that. Yeah, you can see things, and because during this special time, we can open the gallery now, and we can let people in, and I think people can email to us, and can go to the website and call us, and if they have some special need, we can try to help.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good luck with this business, and happy 10th year anniversary.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Daniel Tigaranaradnapathy. He's in the business of helping small businesses. He and his team at RBC are strategic advisors to business owners, and he's seeing a growing segment of thriving Asian entrepreneurs. Hi, Daniel.
Good morning, Anna Karina. It's a real honor to join this fantastic panel this morning.
Well, we're glad that you're able to join us.
Thank you.
Can you teach me something in Tamil?
Yeah, absolutely. Vanakkam means welcome, and Nandri is thank you in Tamil.
Vanakkam and?
Nandri.
Nandri.
Which is thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Give us a description of what you look like, please.
Absolutely. A visual description. I've got short, dark hair and dark skin. And unlike Gangadeep, I'm wearing a very boring, conservative banker's blue blazer. And behind me, I've got a bookshelf right behind me.
Thank you. You've just heard from two Asian entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And there seems to be this unique entrepreneurial grit and spirit among people who have uprooted their lives to seek out greater fortune and ambition in a country. And they do it either out of desire or out of necessity. And I know that you know that from personal lived experience. Tell me about your family's entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can tell from my last name, it's of Asian descent. My family, we come from Sri Lanka, and I can very much relate to the Asian entrepreneurs. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. They left Sri Lanka at a young age. They moved to Germany and eventually found themselves in Canada. My mother is a jeweler by trade. My father's is in the real estate industry. And firsthand, I had the privilege of seeing that entrepreneurial passion from Asian immigrants and seeing some of the challenges and barriers that they had to face, and of course as well seeing the success and the contributions that they've made to our Canadian economy through their businesses and the success that they've had through perseverance.
So tell me about those common barriers that you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, again, relating to what Gangadeep and Yi had shared, we're seeing a lot of successful Asian-led and Asian-owned businesses right across our market, and specifically in Ottawa. However, there are barriers that they are facing. The one common barrier, of course, is that language barrier, and it's very important to distinguish a language barrier from an understanding barrier. With some of our Asian entrepreneurs that have migrated to Canada, they come with a lot of experience and they come with a lot of knowledge, and sometimes there is that stereotype that if they don't speak English fluently, or if there's an accent, that perhaps they don't have the experience, or they don't have the knowledge, or the knowledge, and it's so important to distinguish that, because a lot of our Asian entrepreneurs come with a ton of experience and they have very successful businesses. And what's also amazing is we're seeing Asian entrepreneurs not just in one sector, but we're seeing them thrive in a diverse range of different industries, and we're seeing it right here in Ottawa. I had a meeting last week with a law firm where the partners are Chinese, and they've just launched and they're excited and they're working on their branding. And they shared a little bit about some of the barriers of how they're trying to brand themselves as a Canadian law firm, and some of the challenges that they face. And so certainly,
not just a Chinese business, but a Canadian law firm.
Exactly. And it's sometimes, because of the stereotypes that we have, we think of Chinese entrepreneurs or Asian entrepreneurs or Indian entrepreneurs as being very good at either something very technical or in the tech sector or in certain industries. But the truth is, what we're seeing in the marketplace is that they're excelling in a wide array of different industries, and they're doing so well. And it's Gangadeep and Yi's stories are just one of many exciting stories of entrepreneurs that are just doing so well right across our market.
I want you to take me back to the Chinese entrepreneurs who are starting their law firm. What else are they telling you about when it comes to some of the barriers that they're facing, and some of the new ways that they're overcoming those barriers?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this particular firm, they specialize in real estate law, and you know, and some of the barriers, you know, when folks, when they purchase a property and they think of a notary, you know, sometimes there is a tendency to you know, to seek out a law firm or a lawyer that is Canadian and that, you know, that isn't of an Asian descent. And so those are, you know, it's unfortunate, but those are some of the barriers that you know, we do see in the marketplace. And so it's important for us, you know, when we partner and when we identify opportunities, that, you know, we highlight some of these, such as this particular firm, that we highlight just the tremendous work that they're doing in the marketplace. And as you know, as Canadians, as we experience and deal more and more with different businesses that have backgrounds even from the from an Asian cultural perspective, I think we're going to become more and more comfortable with dealing with different businesses outside of those stereotypes that we're accustomed to.
And so, like you said, you're seeing such a diversity of talent and business sectors that Asian people are going into. And there's so much risk involved, whether you're buying a franchise, taking a lease on a building, or employing staff. Yet in the face of all those potential risks, they see entrepreneurship as more attractive than a traditional employment path. Why do you think that is?
Absolutely. And I think that's part of the entrepreneurial spirit that accompanies Asians and folks that have migrated from Asia. You know, when you think of entrepreneurship and business, you know, it takes an individual who has the ability to take on risk to be able to, you know, pursue a business and an entrepreneurship. And when you think of folks that have, you know, migrated to Canada, it's you know, they've taken on a tremendous amount of risk, and it takes a lot of courage to come to this, you know, to a new country and to launch a business. And so, you know, the courage, the perseverance, and the vision that is required for an entrepreneur to be successful coincides, you know, very organically with a lot of, you know, Asian immigrants that have moved to Canada. And so you're seeing that, and they see the value of, you know, the Asian community sees the value of entrepreneurship as compared to a, you know, a standard 9-to-5 job. You know, they see the opportunity to build a legacy, to create employment. They see an opportunity to build something that they can pass on generationally, or a business that they can, you know, build equity and goodwill and one day sell and monetize. And so they see the community sees that as an opportunity, and they take full advantage of it. And again, that entrepreneurial spirit seems to just resonate with a lot of people of Asian descent here in Canada.
Yes, 100,000%. So can we get really practical and tactical? What's the first course of action that you recommend for the entrepreneurs that you're seeing?
You know, one of the things that you know, from a tactical perspective, it's so important to surround yourself with the right people that you can trust and that will help your business. You know, it's for entrepreneurs, it's important not to you know, try to be a maverick and do it all yourself. It's so important to surround yourself with the right people, you know, COIs, professionals, partners, people that you can refer business to.
So build your network.
Absolutely, to build a healthy ecosystem around you. And, you know, organizations like Invest Ottawa and the Starter Company Plus program, there's so many resources out there that you can take advantage of. And I encourage folks, not just of Asian descent, but any entrepreneur to build that ecosystem around you of just trusted strategic advisors that can help you.
It can get lonely.
Absolutely. And, you know, and you could invest a lot of money into marketing and try to, you know, build your brand and try to get out there and to grow a clientele. You know, and at the same time, you can organically, you know, build relationships and
Right.
refer and get referrals back. And it's just it's a lot more fun and it's a much better recipe to success when you surround yourself with the right folks, especially at the early stages of starting a business.
Well, I hope that some of the people who are participating in this actually look to you and look to one another for that kind of support. For people who want to be better allies to Asian entrepreneurs, what can they do?
Absolutely. And that's what, we spoke about that early on about promoting, businesses and it's so important that we, that as when we're looking for opportunities or when we need, professional services that, we try out different folks. And even when, you need to refer somebody to a lawyer or, or you're looking for a dentist or you're looking for a service, it's so important to try different businesses and especially, to try, businesses that are run and operated and that are occupied by Asian descent. It's important to refer and also to engage with such businesses.
And that is such an easy, practical way for anybody to show allyship in a meaningful way.
Absolutely.
In the last 14 minutes of our time together, I'd love to bring back all of our panelists, Judy, Grace, Gangadeep, Yi, and you, Daniel. Let's, if we can all open up our cameras and let's open up this floor to discussion. There were a lot of really good points. Judy, what resonated with you?
It resonated to me, the comment about how we need to recommend how to be allies, to recommend other Asians, to make sure that, so I think what needs to be said also is that the fact that Asians have faced systemic barriers and have succeeded shows the resilience and shows just the level of skill and determination. So knowing that we are in a spot in which we can understand how to navigate the system, how to lift people up, and how to help them succeed. So I don't think that can be overemphasized. The fact that we have faced barriers and succeeded allows us to help even more people and allows us to be even stronger advocates for local businesses.
Gangadeep, you look like you're bursting to say something.
No, definitely. I agree with Judy and Dan. They absolutely touched the exactly same point I wanted to touch. We need to build like organically. Marketing is the way, you put out money, you are getting customer or you're not getting customer. That is, that is the way. But organically, if you're getting, let's say, as I told you guys earlier, like 400 meals per week we are giving to Parkdale Food Center, and that connection we made it organically. Somebody, Grace was the one who told Parkdale Food Center, we can provide meals, and then the Parkdale Food Center cooking for cause, they get funded by the government, and what they do, they provide meals toward the shelters. So what we are doing every week, we are providing 400 meals to the shelter. So that is the food, we are giving the food at the low cost over there. We are not making that much margin, but we are happy because food is rotating as well. So that is the type of organic thing, we need more things like that. Like somebody is doing something like he wants to more, these type of incentives that can, help us with more organic, we can make things like that. Yeah.
Okay, Grace.
Another thing is language barrier. Definitely. Thank you for touching that one as well. That is the main thing as well. You are not fluent in English. It's very hard to sometimes to explain to the other person. So that is the main thing as well, the language barrier. And the third thing, Judy, thank you as well for explaining that thing as well. We need to understand that sometimes we can be racist as well. Like we need, like newer generation, they are the one who are, who are saying like, let's create this unknown racist thing, right? So we need, that is very good, Judy. I really like it. What you said earlier.
Yes, Grace, and you're nodding in agreement.
Absolutely. I think I learned that our city is so rich with so many assets. The people, the spirit, it's so inspiring. I think just let's all do a better asset management, asset allocation, and develop a philanthropic, public-private partnership to make our city the most vibrant with the best social inclusion capital city in the world. this panel discussion just only brightened my hope, and really, I think it's such a wonderful city, Ottawa. I get to really appreciate it.
I agree. I agree. Yi, did you want to add anything too? Coming off of Grace's comments that she's optimistic and she feels brightened by today.
Yes, I just want to say something. It's I'm really happy about this event meeting things, and let more people learn know the Asia culture thing. At the same time, I like Ottawa a lot. I went to school in Toronto. I came here for study and open galleries, and you know, like is the people here really nice. Like when we teaching students, and they're really nice. They really enjoy and what we're doing, what they're learning. So I think I just continue to do what I can do, and use our art gallery as a platform, and to share cultural exchanges, and to help more people make more colorful, like a piece of painting for Ottawa. Is an amazing country, city. I love it. Also, I really like Canada too, and because this country accepts everyone, accepted all different cultures, and yeah, I had a great time here, and went to school and working and study. I think a lot of people same like me. Thanks for everything, for all the help.
I am looking at the chat to see if we've got any questions that we can throw to our panelists here. Okay. I would love to be connected with you, Grace. How can we reach out? I am Vietnamese by birth, and I work for a non-for-profit organization to help women to gain economic sustainability via entrepreneurship. So maybe, Grace, I'll ask you to put in the chat your coordinates.
Okay.
This is a question there. Oh, here's another one. How are Asian communities working with Black and Indigenous communities to collaboratively address systemic racism? That is a big one. And I think I will toss it to our journalist who covers systemic racism and inequities. Judy, what's your view on that?
You know what, I think what you are seeing is when you look at, for example, last year's March on Parliament Hill after George Floyd, there's going to be another march for to commemorate that event and to call people to continue the fight coming up in June. And what you will find is that in terms of the organizational structure, it is Black led, but you are going to see supporting players from various ethnicities, right? What I think is really important is to acknowledge is that Indigenous people have really led the fight for equality and against systemic racism here in Canada, yes. Right? It started with Idle No More. And if you talk to any Black advocates in the city, they will tell you that they use Idle No More as their template, right? In terms of drawing attention to these matters. And you will now find that players from different cultural groups willing to be supporting players. So getting their communities to participate in the protest, to at least put something on their social media. So once again, it's about lifting everybody and knowing that there is strength in numbers. And also, I think what is important is that there is an understanding now that systemic racism everyone has a different experience with it. And the varying degrees of racism that one feels and experiences has to be acknowledged. Unfortunately for media, I find that we only focus on the really outrageous cases, right? Because those are the ones that make everyone angry. So then you put it up, this story in which it's clearly systemic racism and there's no doubt about it. But then there are all these hundreds and thousands and millions of other people who have experienced racism in smaller doses that are just constant, you know, by 1,000 cuts. So you have to acknowledge that that burden exists. And I'll just give, you know, an example about how something small can actually impact you for the rest of your life. When I was a political science student at the University of Lethbridge, I was asked to participate in I was asked to be a student volunteer at a political conference. And it was a conference, this was back in 1992, and it was a conference about drawing Canada into making a more equitable constitution, right? So it was a constitutional rights. And I was the only Asian in that class. And I was just a first-year student. I didn't have anything to do with it. And then all of a sudden, right before the keynote speech, I was tapped by one of the organizers to sit at the head table. And I was like, why would I be asked? I'm just like a first-year student in poli-sci. I have no idea what's going on. I get asked, there's fourth-year students all around the table. And they're like, what are you doing here? And I don't know what I'm doing here. I just got asked to sit by the professor. I'm not going to say no to the professor. But sure enough, as soon as I sit down, what happens is that the politicians come around just in time for me to be their photo op.
You were the prop. You were the ethnic prop.
I was the prop. So if you can imagine, that is what I experienced as a student, but that would impact me for the rest of my life. Because once again, it's like, okay, you have graduated with top marks in your class, you have gotten this job in journalism, but do you really belong there? Or were you once again the prop? You were the token.
I think your point,
that impacts me, right?
Yes.
And that is the experience of so many other people, whether or not, regardless of how successful they have become, they always have to answer that question, do I really belong? And that's not fair. And that is something that we need to acknowledge and address, and know that little moments impact people in a very profound
those
way.
microaggressions haunt you. They stay with you. And you know, just to your point, each and every one of us has experienced these micro and not so microaggressions. And this is not just an Asian thing. This is anybody part of an underrepresented group, whether they have disabilities or with the LGBTQ plus community or with the Indigenous community. Once we collectively start to work to recognize and challenge those traditional behaviors, this is how we start to build more equitable, more inviting and inclusive systems. That's how it starts. And it's not a question of one group being pitted against another at all. This is all of us working to educate, to share our stories so that we can work better together. Once we know better, we do better. And so I hope that this forum has done a little bit of that. I really hope so. And I hope that all of our guests have taken a little bit away about what Asian entrepreneurial spirit is all about. Dan, Grace, Yi, Gangadeep, and Judy, all of you have been so wonderful and so generous with your time. We've got one more minute. How about I go around the table, quick word, quick parting thoughts, starting with you, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think it's exciting. There's a lot of optimism here around the panel as well, and just great to see and hear the stories from Yi and Gangadeep. And like I shared, you know, we're seeing a strong growth in Asian-led and Asian-owned businesses across our market, and I'm excited for the city and for the Asian community, and I'm excited to see what things will look like in a year from now, and 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. I think it's very optimistic, and hopefully we'll do it again next year for Asian Heritage Month.
Or sooner.
Or sooner, yeah.
Yes. And how about you, Yi? Some parting words.
I'm just really happy and to share my story with everyone. Really appreciate, and today I hear more story about other people. So I feel like family now, and really enjoy it. And hopefully, you know, getting better, and I will work hard together. I think everything should be more wonderful again.
And Gangadeep.
Oh yeah, I really liked the conversation we had. It was really strong conversation, and it is very good. You know, we acknowledge it today with us. If we are together, the stronger we are. But if we are, you know, one stick anybody can break, and if there is 10, 15 sticks, it's going to be very hard to break. So if we are, you know, we are together, we are good, and we're going to be making a great history together, everybody.
Yes, yes, and Grace.
Well, thank you, Anna Karina. Great job. Well done. And also thank you for Invest Ottawa for putting the spotlight in Chinatown, a great asset in the city. So I would encourage everybody probably visit Chinatown today and order your lunch or dinner to celebrate the last day of the Asian Heritage Month and show your love and support to the small businesses in Chinatown. I thank you all.
Yes, and Judy, before you head off.
I would just say thank you for this great opportunity. And once again, as allies, we just remember that we need all of us, and not to diminish anyone's experiences, but to also to educate ourselves. I think that's really important with residential schools in the news, with Black Lives Matters. We should also do our part in terms of educating ourselves on the issues so that the people who really experience the racism are not burdened with constantly having to explain themselves. That's it.
Education, self-learning, all of that great stuff. All of you, once again, thank you so very much. You will see me in Chinatown this week. Absolutely. Gangadeep, I'm going to give you a call to order some curries.
You better.
To all of our guests, thank you so very much. Happy Asian Heritage Month.
Thank you so much.
And Invest Ottawa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maraming salamat. Take good care, everybody.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. 再见.